What's happening, my epic people? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you've all been doing amazing, getting through that boring winter if you are not inclined to ride in the poor weather. But now, as the time is ticking on, we're all starting to get out and about. Everyone's getting a bit excited for the riding season ahead, as am I, of course. Very excited, and it's great to see some nice bit of engagement on the channel and people dropping me messages telling me that they've got their test coming up, and you know what bikes to get and what sort of routes to go down with the test and things. So really good to see. Lovely chatting to everybody, which actually brings me on to a segue into my topic for today. As obviously now the riding season is starting to pick up, more people are starting to think about getting out and about on bikes, and especially if you are new, this topic is more for you. It's to do with your test days, and I suppose the fear that comes with taking your test, or whether it be a CBT, especially that if it's CBT and you've never ridden a bike before and you're sort of wondering if what the day's going to be like and if you're capable. So I thought what I'll try to do is, you know, no particular order of any kind, but just sort of see if I could put any of those test fears, your PTSD to test days, sort of put them to rest a little bit and maybe put you at ease, because every rider's been there. We've all taken a test or a CBT, and we all understand that fear, because if you are really passionate about it and you really want it that bad, you're gonna have fear of that F word, the fail, which is completely understandable. Because I remember when I took my first ever CBT, I knew I'd always wanted to be a rider. I had certainly the influence, you know, my dad was a rider, and I used to see all of him and his mates, you know, going up and down the street together, and because they're all couriers as well, you know, they did it for a career, and it was always a very exciting thing to see bikes. And as I got into my teen years, I'd see all my mates on bikes, and I was like, yeah, I've got to do this. I have to get on a bike. It's like, it's the only thing that really made sense that I needed to do. And it's very cliche to say you need to be on a bike, because you know you can live without one, but as a rider, as somebody who is so passionate about being on one, it almost does feel like a need. So I remember on CBT day, it was very overwhelming. Don't get me wrong, I had a couple of little tries on a couple of friends' bikes, not having an absolute clue what I was doing. You know, just sort of going off my mate's instructions, which, you know, in hindsight they weren't very clear instructions, but they were just, oh, it's easy, just do this and just do that, which that's not how you learn. But when I rocked up for my first day for a CBT, I was actually going for the full test, which was the A2 at the time, and so I knew I was sort of trying to push past the CBT level. But because I had no experience on the bike, it was all completely alien. And I remember it very clearly, and it was, you know, once I'd finally understood how the clutch worked and how sensitive the throttle could be, and what I didn't really know was all the extra things that I was about ready to be taught, to sort of piece it all together, to make it nice and tight, to be able to maneuver the, you know, slow speed stuff, and going on and on. But we're not here to sort of get into the techniques and such, but what your instructor, if they are a good one, will do is they will understand and grow to learn who you are, your personality, and how you learn best. You know, some people, they like being thrown in the deep end, they love pressure, they thrive off it. So your instructor will assess that and go, okay, let's keep up the ante. Whereas some people, they like to be a bit more sort of coddled through a bit more, a bit more of a slower pace, and that's perfectly fine. you know, as an instructor, you will have to understand that even though you find it easy now to ride a motorcycle because it is second nature to you, that when you first start riding, the controls are alien. They are, you know, it wouldn't matter where they are on the bike, they are just completely absurd. And especially if you've come from a car where you've been around cars all your life, you've been sat in one watching your parents drive and you know where the gears are, this, that and the other, it's always very obvious in a car. It's not to say it's easy at the start when you first start learning to drive, but it's certainly, you know, after speaking to quite a few people about this topic, they found it far harder learning to ride a motorcycle and the concept of a motorcycle than the concept of driving a car. So nobody should ever say that riding a motorcycle is easy, because it's not. I think there's a Transalp. Very cool. But here's some things I would recommend doing before your CBT, before your test, before your training, whatever it is that you've got your PTSD about, your nerves. First things first, get a really good night's rest. You know, I know you're going to be thinking about it all night and it's going to make you nervous and you're going to be wondering what's the day going to be like. And there's so much stuff running around your head. So make sure you get a good night's rest, so that way you could be up well and truly in time for your test, get your brain woken up. Which brings me on to my second point. Make sure you have a good breakfast. Definitely make sure you've eaten a banana. A banana is a crucial piece of a winning solution for test days. It's proven, it's potassium, it's good for the brain, it's good for the heart. You know, it makes you feel nice and alert and alive. So yeah, make sure you eat a banana. Other things sort of following on from, you're up nice and early now, you're out the door, you're on your way there. Make sure you've got all your paperwork, make sure you've got your license, whether it be your provisional, whether it be, you know, your full car license, whatever it may be. Your A2, if you're going on to your full unrestricted license. So yeah, all your documents, everything you need, all your kit. Make sure you're bringing the your kit that you actually want for the day. You know, if you have some. Most places for CBT as well, they'll loan you the kit, like your lid and gloves and things like that. But it's always nice that if you're fully committed to riding and you know you want to be doing it and you're going to push through as much, whatever it takes to get it done, you know, go and buy yourself some decent kit that fits you perfect, stuff that makes you comfortable every time you ride. There's nothing worse than sticking your head into a sweaty lid that someone else has been wearing, you know, some other nervous student. So yeah, make sure you bring all your kit. And make sure you get to the training centre on time, or the test centre on time, wherever it may be. Make sure you're there early, ready, present. That'll not only make you feel more comfortable, because then you get a little bit of a chance to get to know the area you're in, have a little look, get to know the people who are going to be doing your CBTs, test training. So make sure you're there early. Now when it comes to the assessors and the people who are conducting your training, your instructors, they want to see more riders on the road. They love bikes. They love bikes, they love everything to do with bikes. They want to see more people on the road, be good at it, progress. It's a very satisfying feeling, passing, and every rider knows this, whether you be an instructor or an assessor. We all know how satisfying it is. So they're not your enemy, so don't go in there with the head space that they don't like you, they don't want to pass you, this, that and the other. I know of an assessor at a certain test centre, I shan't mention names or where, but he has a great profound reputation that people believe that he's not friendly, he doesn't like people, he's moody, this and the other, when actually I think of him as he's by the book and he shouldn't be passing people unless they are ready, you know, and that's how I think that's just how he sees it. You know, and I found him to be quite pleasant in that way, only because I understood what he was doing. But he wasn't out to get anybody, and he never is. He's just very matter of fact. So don't go in there with the wrong thoughts straight off the bat, because they're all good people, most of them anyway. People are people, so you know, you'll probably get, it's likely there is to be one or two. Lovely. So anyway, now you're there, you're getting along with your instructor, assessor, whoever, and now they're gonna start getting the ball rolling. Now, there is a lot of information to take in on the day, and can sometimes seem quite overwhelming, but it doesn't need to be. Because first and foremost, the most important thing to riding is safety. And that is what your instructor's or assessor's job is to do. Is to make sure that you are being as safe as possible before being allowed to be let loose on the road on your motorcycle. So when, say for example, you are doing your training, your CBT, whatever, when it comes to the classroom bits, don't just sit there and think, oh, this is nothing. It's like being back in school. I'm not paying attention to this. Because there is some very valuable information there that, if used, that can help your safety when you're out and about here on the road. You know, knowing road signs, knowing how to navigate junctions, how to move around in on dual carriageways. All these little things that, if you pay attention on the classroom bit, can be really worth its weight in gold. It sounds boring, I know, it sounds like going back to school, but it's not how it is. These are all the things that piece together what you want to do, which is ride a motorcycle. So classroom bit's done, helmet talk's done, all that good stuff, and now you're onto the riding. This is the part where things become quite stressful. And while you're trying to piece all this information together, you know, you've got your instructor there saying, yep, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's same as I said earlier with sort of the classroom bit and whatever. It's a lot to take in, it can be quite overwhelming, but it's repetition that improves this. So try not to get frustrated with yourself straight off the bat. Okay, so let's talk about stress. Stress with you worry about the CBT days, stress with your test, and how to control that. Now, the way I control the stress with test days, and it sounds almost easier said than done, I guess, but it's just how I feel with tests. Enjoy the day, enjoy it. It's time on the motorcycle that you wouldn't otherwise be allowed. It's time on the bike where, you know, you've been dreaming of this day to be able to ride on a motorcycle, so you're actually allowed to do it. I mean, ignore the fact that there's a pass or a fail involved. Just consider it an enjoyable thing, because that's what it is. So even though on your test day you have, you know, an assessor there watching every move you make, and you're wondering what he's thinking, you know, have I done it right? Oh, what a very bizarre thing to do. Should be playing ahead. And you're wondering that if on that particular maneuver, if on that particular thing you did, you know, was it silly, was it wrong, whatever. But you need to put them out of your mind, because that's only going to incur you to have more stress. You know, you just listen to instruction, do as what's told, and enjoy it. Enjoy every second. Because what else are you going to be doing that day? If you weren't there, you'd either be at work, you'd be at home twiddling your thumbs. But no, you're riding a motorcycle. And that's the enjoyable bit. You can worry about the pass or the fail after. And the same goes for the stresses on the day of the CBT. This is your time to ride a motorcycle with almost like the training wheels are on, because you've got an instructor there where if they just let you loose without them, you'd have to figure it out all by yourself. And better yet, you get a day out on a bike that's not yours, so you get to test and know what other bikes are like. You may be a sport bike fanatic or a Harley fanatic or whatever, and you get to try something that's more upright, something you didn't know if you'd like or not. So it's good fun. And then I suppose something I haven't quite really mentioned yet, because all I've really focused on is test days. But what about if you're just stressed in general about going out for a ride? And it's pretty much all the same as what I said above, is have yourself a good night's rest. Make sure you're not too stressed out, like with life and, you know, arguments with your partner or whatever it may be. Just try your best to bury that before you go for your ride, because I know for some people going for a ride helps clear their mind of those stresses, as I know it does for me. But I've learned over the years to not ride in anger, so for me that worked out just fine. But if maybe say on the last ride you went out on, it felt like it wasn't quite connected, so you're a bit nervous and you're a bit worked up about it, put out of your mind, because today's a new day. Anyway guys, so I do hope that sort of helped you a little, just to sort of get you in that frame of mind for your test day, for your CBT, or even just going out and about on an ordinary everyday ride. It's not meant to be detailed, it's just sort of where I've been speaking to some people about their tests and things. I thought it was actually quite an interesting topic. And don't beat yourself up over the little things. You know, I don't know a single motorcyclist out there, or driver for that matter, who has a perfect time every day out on the road. It just doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a perfect ride. Ignore the little things. You will make mistakes, things will happen. That's just the way the world works. Don't beat yourself up about it, learn from it. But more importantly, when you do make that mistake, just move on. Put it to the back of your mind. It's gone now, it's not there now. As long as you stay shiny side up, rubber side down, that's it, no complaints. Life's good. Alright then my guys, anyway, so do expect more videos to follow. Now the weather is starting to improve and we're getting out and about there. Hopefully we can expect a great riding season to come. Already people are buzzing, there is bikes out and about, and it's not even the warmest of days, it's only 11 degrees. So, happy days really. Alright guys, anyway, I'll catch you all later. Peace out.